Hi, today's video is some speed reviews on some popular makeup products that I purchased this year. Let's start off with the MAC Studio Fix Foundation. Now, this is my favorite foundation that I purchased this year. It's not fussy on what type of skin prep you do underneath it. It works well with my sunscreens, with my niacinamide, and all my other skincare products. Whereas for this Dior foundation, if you do the skin prep incorrectly, then it can peel and break apart. I've made a whole shorts video complaining about this Dior Backstage foundation. Now, that's not to say that this won't work for you and this might be terrible for you, but for my combination oily skin, the MAC Studio Fix is so good. I like it because it gives me medium to full coverage and it can be sheared out if you add a little bit of moisturizer and mix it in between. It's forgiving on dry patches and it's great on oily skin. It gives me a semi-matte finish. If I set it with powder, it becomes more matte. If I don't set it and let my oils seep throughout the day, then it looks like a dewy foundation. I highly recommend this foundation. It comes in a bunch of shades and it has SPF 15. This is the reformulated version. These two lip balms are new in my collection this year. I was really hesitant in buying them because they are so expensive, especially the Summer Fridays one. The Ole Henriksen one, I can purchase it on sale, but Summer Fridays is stocked at Mecca, which is at a beauty retailer that never has sales. Yeah, so my preference out of these two is the Ole Henriksen one because I like that thicker, more hydrating feeling. I am used to wearing thicker lip balms and glosses, so the consistency doesn't really bother me. I prefer the thicker consistency and how smooth it applies. I also feel like the applicator is more easy to use compared to the Summer Fridays one. The Summer Fridays lip balm, I do like it. I like the tint. I also like the smell. Because I have the two, I often pick this one instead. The Makeup Forever Artist pencils are new to my collection this year and I have the color in Wherever Walnut. If you're looking for a drugstore dupe of Wherever Walnut, my suggestion would be Big Lift from the Maybelline Lifter Liner collection. These lip liners are so good. They last so long on the lips. They're pretty much budge proof. I do like the Makeup Forever pencils because they can be blended out really easily, but for the lips, I would actually recommend the Maybelline version over this one. The Charlotte Tilbury setting spray is my all-time favorite out of all the setting sprays that I've tried. My eyeshadows and my foundations really don't budge with this setting spray on. For the MAC Fix Plus, I had really high hopes buying it because I watched so many beauty reviewers and they said that you can spray this on dry patches or where the makeup doesn't look quite right and it'll fix it up completely. But I don't think that's correct. I've tried it on areas that are looking a little bit dry and a little bit patchy and flaky and it doesn't solve the problem. I like using MAC Fix Plus to wet my brush before applying MAC Studio Fix foundation, powder foundation, or wetting the brush before applying really shimmery eyeshadows to get a full impact look on my eyes. So I do like this, but for a setting spray, I still prefer the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Even for skin prep, I also prefer the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, applying that before foundation as well over the MAC Fix Plus. I purchased the Milk Sculpt Stick this year because I was looking for a really cool toned contour shade. The Milk Contour shade was the coolest one that I tried from Sephora and Mecca. It applies really smoothly and it's really easy to blend out. I can't complain about this Milk Makeup Contour Stick. This is the Clinique Cheek Pop in Black Honey. It's a blush that's new to my collection. It's a really foolproof blush because it doesn't have a really strong pigmentation. So it's more pigmented than the Dior blushes, but not as pigmented as, say, something like the Patrick Tar blushes. I really like the Black Honey color for my skin tone because I feel like it looks really natural. Nars Creamy Concealer is new to my collection this year and I really enjoy it for spot concealing pimples. It's not the best for under eye concealing just because it can look a little bit dry, but for pimples it is great. This is the MAC Studio Fix Mattifine Primer and it's the best oil controlling primer that I've ever used so far. It is great for the T-zones and I really notice a difference if I use this under foundation. In my hand here are some brow products that I've bought this year and none of these work for me. They either don't hold my eyebrows or leave white residues or hold them for about 30 seconds and then doesn't hold them afterwards. These are some new brushes in my collection. The MAC 170 is the most dense out of these two. In order of density, it would go the MAC, and then the Hourglass, and then the IT Cosmetics one. I find that the trick with using these brushes is that you can't swirl. If you swirl, then you're going to have lots of brush strokes. So you have to dab the foundation in. And also, I find that if you apply foundation directly onto the brush, you're going to get more brush strokes than if you apply the foundation onto your skin, kind of semi-blend it, and then use the brush to really dab everything in. That's when the foundation looks really smooth. If you use these foundations to put the foundation on your skin, you're going to get brush strokes, and so you'll have to go back in with the beauty blender to fix it. I initially purchased this MAC brush and I sought the Hourglass one to replace it because I was having not very good results. I was constantly getting brush strokes, but then I realized it was just me. I was using it wrong. I was swiping and swirling with this brush and I should have been dabbing. I was putting too much foundation onto the brush, which left the bristles clumping together, causing more strokes. These three brushes are great and I'm happy to recommend any of these three to you. They are great for foundation and also blending out cream contour. Out of these two primers, I would choose the Smashbox one, not because it's more pore blurring. The Huda one is actually more pore blurring, but I find that this lays better under specific foundations like the Giorgio Armani and the Estee Lauder one. The Huda one can peel a little bit, considering that Huda herself recommends that you apply quite a bit on your skin. The Smashbox one has a dewy finish, whereas the Huda one has more of a matte finish. This Milani eyeshadow primer is one that I don't really recommend. If you have the budget for the MAC one, I would go for the MAC one just because it's better wearing than the Milani one. The Milani one has a really strange consistency. Sometimes it comes out really liquidy and sometimes it comes out more of a cream, whereas the MAC one is a better formula in my opinion. I've purchased more mascaras that I can finish up this year already, and out of the mascaras that I've purchased, the Emco Beauty one is the one that doesn't smudge on me, but the Japanese mascara doesn't smudge and it also holds the curl. But it is a waterproof mascara, so it is a nightmare to remove. In general, I prefer tubing mascaras and then using an electric eyelash curler to really try and keep the eyelashes curled throughout the day. The Hourglass mascara is probably better than the rest in my hand here. It is a tubing mascara and it doesn't smudge as much as the rest. I purchased the mini size Huda powder because my trusty Laura Mercier one is running really low. I've nearly finished this. I do prefer the Huda one over the Laura Mercier one because I find that it is finer and it looks better on drier areas than the Laura Mercier one. The Laura Mercier one, if you're not careful, can get a little bit cakey. Out of the Saie liquid highlighter and the e.l.f. liquid highlighter, I prefer the e.l.f. one better because this has a little bit more coverage and can be worn as foundation. I find that this can't really be worn alone. It's best worn on top of foundation as a highlighter. I haven't been reaching for these type of products lately. I find that I'm pretty oily, so as the day goes by, it just doesn't end up looking as flattering as it does when I first apply it. I find that for my oily skin, I have to powder a little bit more often or else I can start looking like a tin can. That's the end of my speed reviews. The Patrick Ta Jewel eyeshadows are on my wish list. They haven't arrived in the Sephora's in Australia yet, but when they do, I will be buying a couple. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this video was helpful. Bye.